rooms where that is the case. Basically, anywhere that invulnerability is required to progress. Another one of those big ones being the laser bridge in Turtle Rock.
And here we go. Elminster finding 50 rupees inside Link's house. Buane starting at the sanctuary, but choosing not to pick up the chest there, which turns out was only 5 rupees we see with Elminster. It looks like Buane is heading east, going for the Houlihan room to get a good lead on having a rupee stash.
That's pretty much the fairly standard opening for retro mode. That's 3 keys right off the bat. Just a quick bit of keys right there off the bat.
And here Buane is decentralizing his camera so that he can drop into the Houlihan room, as Elminster looks like he's going up to check the lumberjack lead. Finding that our tree pull is hearts, and that the hoarder enemy, the bush crab, only has single rupees for us.
Curious to see what our Kakariko will hold and get us toward a direction in this seed. For those asking in chat, the Houlihan tile in the back, the tile in the back of the Houlihan room is not a hint, but merely a list of past tournament winners.
We see 5 rupees on the mushroom spot as we drop down into the Thieves' hideout in Lost Woods. Find the mushroom!
Just a little bit left of center. But who wants an early fetch quest? It's dangerous to go alone. Take drugs!
That's something I would be encouraging, as Elminster heads south into Kakariko Village, and Buane does his lumberjack check, which is only a 5 rupee find, and we will not be killing Ganon for those 5 rupees.
But he does also take a moment to duck into that shed to try to find one of our Take Any caves.
And we had our first map check, and it looked like that Eastern Palace and the Desert Palace were blue crystals, and the Tower of Hera was the Pendant of Wisdom, the blue.
Alright, so that sets us up for some interesting possibilities. We do have to clear all these dungeons eventually, but that does lead to possibility of some items being on pedestal, or even a item required for a pendant dungeon being inside the Tower of Ganon.
Elminster having to purchase bombs at the shop, as he does a little domestic terrorism and possible animal cruelty to find 5 rupees in the chicken.
We're going to see a lot of those fivers here as we make our 3, because a lot of those safeties and heart pieces are going to be replaced by those 5 rupees, as well as our arrow bomb drops.
Looks like Buane's headed for the escape sequence, maybe just to see Uncle.
I'd imagine a quick Uncle check would not be out of the question here.
Elminster finds our first heart piece in the bottom of Kakariko's well.
We've got 20 of those possibly to find, and only a single container out there. Who wants safeties? You're not going to find them here.
Uncle has the flippers.
I have failed to rescue the princess. Have these water shoes.
Buane deciding to back out before going back into the rest of the escape sequence. Elminster finding out that the bottle merchant is scamming you. Only 5 rupees.
5% cash back. What a deal!
The banking system.
And it's gone.
There's our moon pearl in Blind's hideout with Elminster. That's a great find. You need that really early.
And it looks like Buane's heading up for an early check turn into that mushroom. He is set up here to save Scummit if it ends up being a waste of his time.
Elminster finishes his checks of Kakariko and goes out back to his house to go down to do the South Shore checks. Only 5 rupees for that mushroom. Elminster using the fake flipper, not knowing that the flippers are with Uncle as he goes up to turn in his mushroom.
The going rate for drugs is just a little bit down this time in Hyrule, but I'm sure and all these runners are definitely hoping for money, as Retro Mode does add money management to the game, which is something you typically don't have to deal with in most randomizer seeds.
Now, Buane was picking up those bushes there underneath the Haunted Grove, and 2 of those bushes there have a 50% chance to drop a bomb. So Buane was able to find 1 bomb there, which he will need 3 to do all 3 of the checks in Kakariko, not counting the twins' house, which he's just passing up now to check the rate. It looked like that was a bottle?
He will be able to take that 1 bomb and turn it as many as he wants at that hut in the bottom left-hand corner of Kakariko Village.
Looks like he's choosing to forego that and get I'm assuming was a bottle at the race game. Elminster looking for those, and there he finds one of our Choose One at the Lake Hylia fortune teller, and he chooses the heart container. Not a bad choice, especially this early in the game.
I would imagine that any of these take any finds are going to be heart containers.
Absolutely. With only 1 heart container being in the pool, you don't want to have to be scrounging around for those pieces of heart just to get your health up. 20 rupees on the library shelf, so we will not be needing the boots to come back and get that. Elminster going for Sasha-Lara, and we are still looking for our first weapon of any sort.
It's interesting to be this far in this many checks and to not find anything anything of note.
We find the cape at the back of Sasha-Lara's house, and Buane taking that bottle straight to the sick kid and picking up some bombs for his trouble. That'll enable him to check those 3 spots: the chicken hut, the bottom of the well, and Blind's hideout. It looks like he's going to go and purchase something. He goes for bombs.
He probably needs a few extras to potentially defeat some enemies like the mini Moldorms or something along the South Shore.
Elminster deciding to go up into Eastern Palace. Now, this is a required dungeon, however, it will not be full clearable until we find the bow, and by logic, the lamp. However, these runners are both very skilled and can probably get through those dark rooms without the lamp, no problem.
Who needs light to see their way?
Chat pointing out that no, Elminster did not speak to Sasha-Lara to find out where the green pendant is being held.
I'm probably going to see a lot fewer of the map checks just because of the all dungeon state. There will be some interesting... I mean, it does open up some possibilities of items being required, where they can be hidden to complete other dungeons, but we're going to have to go everywhere at some point.
Buane's still looking for that, those Choose One rooms going into the houses of Kakariko, and he gets scammed by the bottle merchant too.
5% cashback, great in a credit card, not so much in a bottle purchase.
Now, chat's talking about the sprites being used. Buane is going against what he normally uses, the Ryu sprite, and is using the Dark Link. And Elminster is using the CDI Link sprite that is from those games that we do not discuss.
I just wonder what Ganon's up to.
Well, I mean, currently he's a bat inside the wizard.
And learning about slugs.
Elminster going to check our hint tile here, and Cash is in the Palace of Darkness.
Thanks, game.
Buane picking up his Moon Pearl in Blind's hideout. As Elminster goes to the simpler dark rooms in Eastern Palace. Again, he does not have a weapon, so this is... He cannot be very happy about this right now.
Well, how is he going to complete... How is he going to defeat that first enemy if it gets in his way? Be interesting to see what he does. I imagine he's just a little bit of sneaking around, a little bit of damage boosting, not many hearts to work with, and he does have the magic cape, but he uses triple magic, and
he doesn't have any magic at all to even start that. Finds the big key, using those invincibility frames to get through the anti-fairy cloud there to get access to that pressure plate. And Buane finds his heart container from an take any on the east house in Kakariko. So we now know where 2 of the take 1 huts are: the Lake Hylia fortune teller and the east house in Kakariko. Both of our runners saving and quitting out, and starting back at Link's house. Are we going for South Shore now?
Haven't found a whole lot yet. We do have bombs to take care of those mini Moldorms in the cave. Beyond that, we have a Gino left to be checked, and not a whole lot else has been opened up in our logic yet.
Elminster checking what is normally the fairy pond, and is the fairy pond.
I believe those are untouched.
Buane going into the dam, not going to be able to pull any tricks without the hook shot or the mirror, finding bombs inside the dam.
Well, I've seen a few more booms here in the early game, especially when we have yet to find anything to defend ourselves with.
We find a small key under the water.
Well, definitely helpful. There's a few of those out in the item pool.
Since they are decentralized from their dungeons, you just want to collect as many as you can, as fast as you can. As Buane goes for Mini Moldorm Cave, we're going to have to see bomb strats from both our runners. Yeah, Elminster's following in his wake, so we're going to see bomb strats.
And touching back on decentralized keys, there will be times where the logic will expect us to have purchased some keys in order to progress.
They'll have to find one of those 5 chain shops in order to do that. We find our first weapon in the form of the hammer and the 1 heart container in the pool, as well as the hook shot in Mini Moldorm Cave. I'd like to start a petition to rename Mini Moldorm Cave Hype Cave.
Mini Hype Dorm Cave just doesn't have the same ring.
Buane taking his flippers, and instead of wandering around risking that crab and those buzz blobs, going up to Ice Rod Cave. And Elminster, since he did not pick up the flippers from Uncle, is going to have to brave the very nasty crabs. They do 2 hearts of damage with the green mail, and that is not something you really want to deal with a lot, especially this early.
The crab army of the South Shore is one of the most dangerous parts of the early game.
Both our runners successfully playing dodgeball with the crabs, and we find out that the item inside Ice Rod Cave is the Power Glove.
It's so bad. Also, it's Dark World access.
Yep, Buane with his Moon Pearl from Blind's Hideout and the hammer and the glove. That's Dark World for Buane.
I love Dark World, here we come.
Is Buane going to check this? Yes, he is going for the Fortune Teller, which he will be able to be rewarded by that heart container. I would be genuinely shocked if either of our runners took the blue potion over a heart container.
So the retro mode coming in, making expert a little less terrifying, as that's 4 extra heart containers we would not normally have access to.
And we do find one of our chained shops at the Lake Hylia shop, and Buane did pick up his arrow.
It's definitely a good thing to do, because if you do not make that purchase, you will not be able to flip over to silvers when you reach Ganon.
Now, I didn't see what was on Lake Hylia Island, as Elminster picks up 20 rupees from the Hype Cave guy, finding
and that was
a bee
the
in a
lamp
bottle.
On Hylia Island.
That was what on Hylia Island?
The lamp.
The lamp! Well, we need to find the mirror to get that.
So by summation, we know that the lamp is not somewhere that is dark, or needs to be accessed through the dark. Or the mirror, I should say.
Buane checking the hobo, and Elminster going into the back of escape. Buane getting
gloves
a
in
little
hand,
low
it's
for
an
his
easy
troubles.
check.
We find the Ether Medallion in the back of escape with Elminster.
That's one of our 2 potential coins necessary. Maybe even 3 if the Bombos Medallion is required to make our way through Ice Palace.
Now, Buane does not have the money to get the item on King Zora, which costs 500, but he is going to check at least the Waterfall of Wishing here, which is 2 items, free of charge.
I mean,
And if he has that empty bottle, a free refill of something, we don't know what. 5 rupees and 100 rupees.
well, the Zora is technically in logic now, but if it's a really feels bad check in retro mode, that's a lot of arrows you just wasted. And a lot of keys you just wasted. That's 5 keys you can potentially lose for nothing. So I'd imagine
Elminster taking his hookshot to navigate the dark room of Death Mountain to go and save the old man. Buane only finding the only shield in the pool on Zora Lake.
Oh, there are. I believe all 3 shields remain in the pool. You just cannot gain more than the first.
You are correct. There are 3 shields in the pool. I misspoke. I apologize.
That is okay. It happens. There's a lot to keep track of here between retro and expert.
Elminster unlocking his Death Mountain spawn point, but I didn't get to see what item was with the old man as Buane goes to hide kick. Buane gonna pick up his bee in a bottle and rupees. And on top of Spectacle Rock, we have some bombs. Elminster deciding to see what item is inside Spectacle Rock, a big 20, as opposed to just dropping down to check that hint.
Curious choice to make there, but maybe one of those more meta routing decisions, trying to save just a little bit of time.
Elminster with the hookshot is going to be able to run over and check the east side of Death Mountain, and I just missed a check of our map on Buane's side in the dark.
Alright, so I've got that queued up there, and I just lost it. I did see a red pendant on Pod.
And I saw a blue crystal inside Misery Mire. He is so fast with those checks, and he gets a piece of heart from Stumpy as Elminster pulls 25 rupees out of the bottom floor of Paradox Cave.
Is it the bottom or is it the top?
So chat being helpful, and they saying green pendant is in Turtle Rock, Pod is the red pendant, and Swamp Palace and Ice Palace are the red crystals. Buane gonna earn some money from the archery game as Elminster pulls the mirror out of Paradox Cave.
Alright, so there's our access to the lamp, and therefore dark rooms.
Buane's gonna keep playing the archery game, stocking up on those rupees, and he misses.
Curious to see a miss, because it is a relatively easy setup.
Comes out of there 481 rupees, and he's coming back in. This is where Buane's going to start having a little bit of an advantage on Elminster, provided they find the bow fairly quickly. In the fact that he has all these rupees, and Elminster hasn't done much rupee farming.
I have to imagine, though, the money he's farming up here is going to be focused more toward the key side of things than it is the bow side of things. We already do have the hammer in hand, so we already have a pretty good weapon.
And we find 5 rupees on the floating island of Death Mountain, and it looks like Elminster is going over to Tower of Harrow without a fire source.
The dungeon is completable, but the bottom room is in logic, because we know we do have access to the magic lamp on Hylia Island now with his mirror in hand. So depending on how the key layout goes, he may be able to go up to Molar, he may not.
there's the big key, so he will be able to climb Death Mountain without trouble, but there are 2 items in here that he may not be able to get one of them because he does not have a fire source. Just a joke hint. And a 5 rupee draw. Oof.
No, that's one of our
Buane
2
still
items.
shooting those platypuses.
And definitely not an uncommon play here.
But hopefully one that will pay off in the future. Buane with over 1,000 rupees now and deciding to finally quit his archery spree to go and check the dig game.
Oh yes,
1
and chat
through
pointing
30.
out-
How many digs will it take?
Chat pointing out that there's actually 3 items now because the key shuffling adds a bit more to the item pool here.
Oh, 3 items. Yes, I apologize.
It's one of those things that's easy to forget because there's just too much changes to deal with, and retro is not something that is commonly played, but even though the bot really, the random bot seems to like it.
The prize in the dig game is only a 5 rupee drop, but Buane keep digging anyway for those lovely red rupees.
It'll take every penny you can get your hands on in this mode.
Thank you, chat, for keeping me honest.
Alright, Elminster's gonna go down and take down Moldorm here.
And gets trolled for his trouble. He's only got 1 heart. He's got to play this careful if he doesn't want to take a death. Buane heads west into Kakariko one more time.
Curious he went up with so little hearts and didn't set up to be able to open those pots down below.
And I think Buane is headed into the Dark World at the Village of Outcasts.
Hammer Moldorm is fun.
Especially with 1 heart. Elminster's doing it very well, though, and gets the kill. Elminster picking up the Pendant of Wisdom from Moldorm, getting 50 rupees for his trouble.
I did see 2 items. I did remember seeing if we saw both the map and the compass, so there may be something locked down below.
If there is something important, Elminster's going to have to come back for it after he picks up the lamp.
Definitely doesn't seem like the wrong decision. That's an awfully long way to go back and grab that fire source for potentially nothing.
Buane picking up a 5 rupee drop from the chess game. Whole lot of scamming going on today. To answer a question in chat, yes, we are out of groups. This is the bracket section of the tournament.
And this is the final race between Buane and Elminster here. The winner here will continue on.
And the loser just might join us here in the commentary booth.
And the winner of this and the winner of these 2 is faced with the daunting task of facing ALG Andy in the round of 8. Or excuse me, the round of 16.
Now, Buane was in Andy's group during the groups phase, and he was able to defeat Andy once out of the 3 games he had to play in, so it is possible, but that is a very daunting task to defeat Andy.
Any given seed, any given day.
Stranger things have happened.
And we do see a lot of strange things in Randomizer because it's random, right?
Exactly, that's why we like to play it. It keeps us on our toes. Buane inside Thieves Town as Elminster hits Kakariko. He's going to find that, take 1 hut inside the East House.
A little bit of a feels good moment after many runners seems to lament the retro mode in general, but it's coming through, making this a little bit less frightening with having a few more hearts available to us.
Buane finding a 300 rupee drop. That's 30 arrows or 3 keys.
I gotta say, the keys are probably what we're gonna lean on a little bit heavier until we find that bow, especially without the ability to use the silver arrows freely. In fact, we can't even use them outside of Ganon.
Since this is expert mode, those silver arrows will only be useful in Ganon's room inside the pyramid. Looks like Elminster's headed for the Dark World at Kakariko as well to hit the Village of Outcast checks that Buane has finished up already. Buane deciding not to check the hint on the first floor of Thieves Town.
Just seeing a little bit of the more metagame decisions on when it comes to these hint tiles, whether it's really worth the time or not to go through there. There could be big information, it could be a waste of time. In a deciding match like this, I wouldn't say it's a bad idea to make a few small gambles here or there. Because this is it. You win, you're in. You lose, you're done.
Elminster inside Skull Woods. We'll get to see some things we haven't seen before. As he sets up the bomb jump, since he picked up the big key in that first chest, to get that big chest. Some cash is in Mimic Cave. Buane did decide to pick up that hint tile.
Potential small bit of time save, but it depends on when they hit the good old Turtle Rock.
And Elminster found the mitts inside the big chest of Skull Woods. And Elminster also skipping a chest. He's probably going to get this one, head back south.
I think it's just been more of a routing decision because of where the keys are, trying to save the use of a key.
Finding the Book of Medora.
That's definitely a nice find. It makes desert access a little bit easier, so that becomes a potentially clearable crystal depending on where the keys fall.
Buane finding not much in the Maiden's chest at Thieves Town.
And Elminster finding the only guaranteed key in the game.
That chest always has a key because there is a drop spot to get down into that room. And the only way out is that locked door. And Buane finding the red boomerang, the worst boomerang, inside the big chest of Thieves Town.
And that's where I'm going to have to disagree with you, but that's okay.
Well, the laggy boomerang, then.
I will give you that. It was definitely the crutch that got me through at 8.
Buane on his blind fight now, gonna have to use the hammer. 3 hits with any weapon that'll damage blind per head, and Elminster taking a death, probably intentionally, in that room of Skull Woods, behind that statue.
Yeah, that's gonna be intentional. Buane is making a pretty good work of the hammer blind fight. Those taking the kids coming in clutch.
Oh! Yeah, he's got to watch out for those heads. They do 2 hearts of damage. The fireballs always do 1. Yuck. That's not fun. He's going to have to come back and claim that crystal out of blind to finish this match. But I think he's going to come back later when he has something with maybe a little bit bigger hitbox as he checks the Dark World Fortune Teller. And he finds the first sword. A few hammer blows to show his anger. and discontent. It's dangerous to go alone. Take this, the fighter's sword in Buane's possession now.
It definitely feels good to find that it feels bad after just failing the hammer blind fight when you could have had the fighter sword and stayed a little bit better on, a little bit closer to script. And Elminster fighting another one of our shops in the Dark World Lumberjack.
He did pick up a key there. Looks like Buane's going to check the bumper cave ledge. He shows those myrtle dactyls what for.
Just one thing that sticks in the back of my mind is that Zora has been in Logic for quite a while, and that's a huge investment potentially leading to something. To answer the question in chat, the keys work in retro. They are they're no longer dungeon specific. There are a set amount. It is randomized into the item pool, and you will also be expected to purchase some at some of the added shops for 100 rupees per.
Elminster finding 300 rupees at the graveyard ledge. That's 3 more keys for him. As Buane enters Skull Woods and is going to that same statue room. Now, Buane also has not hit the east side of Death Mountain, so he does not have his mirror yet.
But this does put up an interesting bit of conundrum, as we know the magic mirror is on the east side of Death Mountain, and the lamp is locked behind the mirror, so somewhere out here has to be the flute, which is our logical access to the mountain to gain the mirror to gain the lamp. So if you're following your logic right now, you're looking for a logical access to to the mirror to get to Death Mountain.
Elminster doing his Village of Outcast checks. Buane does a bomb jump to get to the big chest and get his Titan's bits. We have our racers following in each other's footsteps as Elminster is in the Thieves town and Buane in Skull Wood, just doing the checks that the others have already done. So, Bungie, where do you think that nasty little bow is hiding?
This is an interesting bit of conundrum. I'm kind of hoping for something like deeply hidden. I'm gonna say like in a dark room of Palace of Darkness.
In the dark maze? Okay. That very well could be. Let's see here. Where could it be? I'm thinking Ice Palace.
That sounds pretty dirty.
However, we can't really confirm if it even could be an Ice Palace until we find either Bombos or the Fire Rod.
I've always been a fan of finding the Bombo, having the Bombos medallion out in the world, and then the Fire Rod is hanging out on Cold Stare, because of course it is.
Speaking of well-hidden rods, we are going to have to play every runner's favorite guessing game, Where is the Ice Rod? As it will be required since we do have to take out Trinex today.
And unfortunately, with the current pendant situation, I don't think it'll be on everyone's favorite location, the pedestal. But looking at the pedestal, I'm trying to rack in my brain as to what items it could be. The two things that jump out at me would be the boots or whatever medallion is locking Misery Mire.
The silver arrows could potentially also be on the pedestal.
Do you think our runners would take the time to do that?
I don't know. Silverless Master Sword Ganon fight. That's not a fun concept.
I guess it really depends on if a pedestal check is made. Because both runners do have the Book of Medora, and both have been in the area of Skull Woods.
Buane checking the Hammer Pegs cave and finding the flute. There's our flute.
Alright, so there's the breadcrumbs followed. That gives us access to the mountain, which gives us the mirror, which gives us the access to the lamp. Which then opens up the old man.
It's fun to follow the logic. Buane looking like he's gonna save Jeremiah the Bullfrog and do the blacksmith chain. And since he doesn't have the mirror, he does have to save and quit out and start back at the sanctuary.
Without that mirror, he becomes less of a good friend and more of a casual acquaintance.
So we'll get to see what the blacksmiths are hiding as Elminster makes his way through the Maiden's jail and get blind up to that bright light.
Elminster will likely have a little bit better of a time with blind than Buane did, due to having the fighter sword as before they go in.
And Buane lets his duck out of the weather vane, opening up his movement around the land of Hyrule.
It's everyone's favorite tune, the Serenade of the Swag Duck.
To answer chat, yes, the flute was on hammer pegs. So we get the blind fight while we are going to check the blacksmiths. We get a gardening pun from Blind tonight. 3 hits to the head, any weapon that'll damage him. Canes, swords, or the hammer. And Blind is dead. 5 rupees for Elminster's trouble, and a lovely blue crystal.
He's hoping for a bit of an easy progression, but he'll take his crystal.
Wayne going and checking the Mire shed, which really can't be too surprised that he likes that shed. And I didn't see what medallion was there.
And that is a bolt coin for Misery Mire.
So Ether required to get into Misery Mire. Wayne finding the Quake medallion in the Mire shed. So we need Elminster to go and get his flute from Hammer Pegs, and we need Wayne to go up Death Mountain to get that mirror. Looks like Wayne's going to decide to hang out in the desert with the Jazz Sand and see that 5 rupees are on the desert ledge. And now he is on Death Mountain.
He'll feel good to have found his mirror. Wish he'd been up here sooner, but he's sticking to the logic, which isn't the worst play. However, if you look at just overall completion toward the goal, Elminster has a slight lead as he's completed a couple dungeons, but Tower of Hera won't be too slow for Buane, and all he has to do is go back and get redemption against Blind the Thief.
Elminster seeing that a green potion was on the race game and decides to bolt out of there and instead play the dig game. We know that the big prize for the dig game is 5 rupees, but you can still dig up a significant sum just digging around.
Definitely hope to make back at least the 100 that you had to pay to start the game. And it looks like they have made up just enough money to make that possible.
Wayne going up the top of Death Mountain to check Spectacle Rock. We will get to see that hint, and Elminster just missing not taking that dialogue box.
So what are we going to see for our trouble?
Well, where Buane fell behind in terms of these dungeons you mentioned is he decided to hang out and do the archery game for a load of rupees. He is not quite as stressed about finding them as Elminster might be. And we find a duplicate hint that Mire, or Mimic Cave, is only got cash in it.
It is something that is looking to be adjusted in further versions of the randomizer with the less instances of duplicated hints.
Buane making his way into Paradox Cave as Elminster finishes off the hammer pegs to claim his flute. So they are going exactly where they need to go.
But looking at what is open, there's not a whole lot. There's not much completable open to us logically at the moment.
Well, I suppose that Desert Palace would be completable once they claim the lamp from Lake Hylia Island, since they both have the mirror in them.
And that's pending if the boots aren't required to get to the big or small key.
Just bombs from the blacksmiths for Elminster. Personally, I would not be hitting bombs with the hammer.
So it looks like there's something out there that's going to be something else that's looking for potential double dip. Just looking at the overall items available, I mean, you could look for a pod where you sequence break the right side, but Palace of Darkness is one of the more expensive key dungeons, but you could save a little bit with that with a well-placed hammer yump.
Buane finding another one of our changed shops inside Paradox Cave. He's going to have to leave the cave entirely to reset that shop. Not the most efficient location for that shop to be at.
However, there are more convenient locations available to him, but if you find one, you typically at least walk out with a key.
Elminster did decide to pick up Gary's lunchbox, and it looks like he's going to go down to the desert or the swamp to check out what is inside the box.
Flute in hand, a little bit of quicker check for Elminster.
Finding only 5 rupees, just a little bit of lunch money. Buane with another one of our chain shops on Dark Death Mountain. He's farming keys right now. I'm not sure where he's expecting. What is he gonna do?
Well, with as much money as he has, he may as well just get the key farm out of the way while he's found a relatively convenient location to dip in and out of. Finally reaping the benefits of the bow game he decided to use.
Elminster has his Quake medallion now from the Mire shed and has decided to go into... no, he's going to check the desert ledge, which we know that's nothing really significant, just 5 rupees.
I would imagine a dip into desert will probably shortly follow to see if we can get anything out of here.
And you would be exactly right as we enter Desert Palace for the first time with Elminster. Buane still farming keys. He's got 13 of them, and we do not need the boots to complete Desert Palace. Cash is in Thieves Town. Thanks, game. We already figured that one out.
Alright, so suddenly we have gone up to a few more items, though I don't know, I can't remember which of the runners saw that the lamp was on the island.
That would have been Buane.
So Elminster doesn't know that this is completable. He just has to get over to the side.
Buane's the only one of the flippers to have done that check. As he was the only one that went to see the uncle. Hopefully that will pay off for him in terms of being able to save time and get things done, as he does check the Super Bunny Cave.
The Elminster is running out of accessible locations to find the items they're looking for.
To answer chat, and chat is also correct in that Buane did spend the 80 rupees to purchase the arrow item from one of the shops, and he finds the Master Sword in Super Bunny Cave. He has maxed out his offensive capabilities with that Master Sword.
And more importantly, found one of the biggest keys to defeating the end, to bringing an end to the seed. Because you will need to find the Master Sword in order to damage Ganon.
Buane gonna check Turtle Rock's medallion for us, and it is Bombos! The one medallion we have not found yet. Five rupees on the floating island. Looks like Buane's gonna use the Quake medallion to free the fairy from the Bonk Rocks. Recharge his health, he was down to 1 heart. Something blue was inside the checkerboard cave. I'm going to assume it was a rupee since Elminster decided to leave it there.
And you are correct on that one. And I will admit, I have not seen freeing the fairy with the Quake medallion before. It's an interesting mechanic.
I've only ever seen it once, and I did it by accident in the vanilla game as a child. Buane finding nothing of significance inside Hookshot Cave, as a piece of heart is found being in the care of Agina of Elminster. Buane checking Spiral Cave after the first match in this series where he forgot to check Spiral Cave when there was a key piece of progression there. I believe it was the flippers. Not surprised to see him inside Spiral Cave making this check.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, well, you can't fool me again.
Just finding a big 20 for his troubles.
Alright, so taking an inventory, we do know right now we could complete Desert Palace, but neither of our runners has taken the time to go pick up that lamp, and Elminster doesn't know where it's sitting on Hylia Island. I would hope that Buane would go ahead and pick it up soon, as we're getting close to not having any other fire source. The fire rod's still yet to be found.
Buane, with his mirror, his flippers, and his hookshot, is he going to go? He's not going to Swamp Palace. High item concentration there. It looks like he's going for K45. After spending all that time farming those rupees on the archery game, and then having 16 keys on his keyring, just finds 20 rupees inside K45, and he's going to pick them up anyway.
Well, looking through to the bottom, I mean, it wouldn't that be a bad play to check off these bottom 2 checks, because I don't think he's checked this. And I don't know if he's been to Stumpy or not. But perhaps after that he heads on over to Swamp. Try to get that little one-off location out of the way.
He may also go to the west here and check. Yes, he's probably going to go check Bombos. Since he does have the Book of Medora and the Mire to get access to that.
Cross those 2 locations to those one-offs off the list, and head on over to the right and take care of Swamp afterward.
Elminster using his Mire to avoid that 3rd Lionel and get back to the Dark World from the normal check here. Where is he going? Is he going for the Ether Tablet? Nope, we're going to Spike Cave.
Oh,
He has a cape, and it won't be costing him 3 times. It's just what it normally is here inside Spike Cave.
And did he pick up that green potion or not?
He decided to leave that potion on the race game, and he gets 20 rupees inside Spike Cave. And now we go into the Swamp Palace. 6 items normally in here. I'm not sure how many would be in here. Piece of Heart requires the green pendant. Now we know what Sasha Lara is hiding.
don't have to worry about turning in that green necklace now.
Buane finding 20 rupees in where is normally the small key for Swamp Palace.
After gonna go ahead and take care of the one key he's guaranteed to lose.
And gets it right back. Elminster coming to visit everyone's favorite scam artist, Kiki the Monkey, as he goes towards the Palace of Darkness with no lamp and no bow.
So, Scantor, what's your theory on what Kiki's been doing with all this money?
Kiki with all that money? I think he's buying hair dye, because I've never seen a purple monkey.
Something I had not taken into consideration.
I don't think many people would. It seems chat has an idea of their own. Buane getting another key here. Guaranteed spot.
Keys, gotta have those keys. It's Key Sanity Light, it's retro.
I would not want to see a Key Sanity retro. I'd know. Oh no. That's not possible. I really wouldn't want to see it either. Ugh. Key Sanity's terrifying to me.
I don't know how I'd fare in Key Sanity. I have monkeyed with Randomizer, but having to double the puzzles, I don't know if that's really double the fun.
Buane decided to forego left side swamp and go in straight into the back. We see that something was held by the grumpy fish with Elminster in the bottom hint tile in Palace of Darkness.
And that is some cash held with the grumpy fish. And we have not seen either of our grumpy fish yet.
And Elminster going to use the potion glitch to bypass the mimics. Since he was able to decentralize the camera using that potion where he did in that hallway, and then he can drive the mimics off the screen, making the game believe that they are gone, opening the door.
And chat bringing up a good point. With this being retro mode, you're pretty much able to drown that key here in Swamp Palace. It makes the left side a little bit less of a pain in the butt.
A little bit less of a time sink. Elminster finding the map, and Buane not finding much in Swamp Palace so far.
Still the boss and those checks on the left side and the big chest left to be found.
4 checks still in Swamp Palace. Buane picking up that extra key. He likes that number 16, apparently. Gonna take 2 swipes to kill each of the cheesy boots that he pulls off of Argus to get rid of them.
I love our guys, you love our guys.
Oh, Argites, is that their proper name?
Yeah, they are our guys.
Oh, fair enough. I guess it's more professional to call them cheesy boots.
I was enjoying my blended cheesy poo song, but Buane is making quick work of our Argus here.
Elminster finding another one of our shields in the Palace of Darkness as he enters the Dark Rupee room under here to get these 2 items. Finding 5 rupees. Well, the whole room's full of 5 rupees and some bombs.
Money, 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 money. Keys.
And he's going to need them. He's only got 2. And Buane not going back in to get the left side swamp or the big chest.
Curious decision on his part, but he seems to be the gambler here.
There's a reason he's in the brackets. Hopefully this does pay off for him. He's going to pick up the lamp from Lake Hylia Island.
I do enjoy some lamp.
Elminster going to perform the hammer yump for us.
Gotta love those double frame perfect tricks here.
Finding 5 rupees in the big chest of pod.
And more importantly, a key saved.
Buane picking up another key. Are we going to see more key farming? We are. Elminster making his dark way through the dark maze, using the sword to find out where he's at.
He's gonna have to leave himself with at least 100, if not 600 rupees to take care of both Zora and Kiki. But I think at this point he's almost to the point where he can skip a few keys here or there to save time.
Elminster gonna have to be really careful. He's only got 1 heart left, and those fires will take 1 heart away from him. Buane deciding not. He didn't pick up the. He got it. So okay, where is he going? Oh, he's going to Mire. Okay. He can't get into Mire. Oh, is he going for checkerboard? Or desert?
Well, there's still a few things there.
Buane, what are you doing?
Well, he does have the lamp now to complete Desert Palace.
Yep, that's gonna be a good play. It's gonna get him his 2nd crystal.
And he has yet to go here yet, so he's got a few things to check.
And as a reminder, we do have 9 hearts being our max limit here, and Elminster already at 8.
One of those little advantages of this being retro mode, as the 4 take any hearts are not accounted for. So there's only a single heart container to be found in the item pool, and we did find that. So if you find any more take any caves, that could push him up to 9 without having to farm the heart pieces. We've only seen 2 of them thus far, though. We aren't seeing as many extra checks for those take any's at the moment.
The max is set at 9, according to our chart that I was able to read. And is Elminster's going for Castle Tower? No, he is not. He's going for he's going for escape sequence. Okay. Good to see what Zelda was hiding in her prison cell.
Yeah, the maximum hearts is still 9, so if you reach 9 and then find things afterward, they're just retroactively changed to rupees after you pick them up. So if one of our runners do find another take any with a heart container and they already have 9, it'll be turned into rupees once they pick it up.
Buane finding the bug net in the big chest of Desert Palace, and Elminster finding the boots inside the escape sequence.
And those have been available for quite some time. So far, not logically required to complete anything, as we know Desert Palace is not boots locked, and there's nothing on Lumberjack or the Library Ledge.
Still could be that the Ganon Tower Big Key is on Bob's chest, or Bob's torch. Elminster finding the Cane of Samari in the Boomerang Room. Seems that the escape sequence was the place to go.
And the thing has been available for all this time. Now that opens up that's opening up a bit more of the map to him, as now Misery Mire becomes completable. And if he were to find that Bombos medallion that Buane has, that opens up some more fun things.
Finding just a piece of heart in Zelda's cell. Looks like he's going for... Yep, he's going to the Dark Cross. As Buane gets ready to take down the Land Molas with his Master Sword.
Definitely not the most fun fight here, but at this level I think he'll be okay.
Elminster making his way through the dark, using his boots and his sword to determine where he's at. Finding 5 rupees in the Dark Cross. Not really worth the time there.
And it's interesting that he would choose to go into there when he has not checked Uncle yet, but he can mirror out.
And now Elminster begins to climb the tower to face off against Aga 1 without checking Uncle for those flippers.
So we know that this will, I mean, it will dump him back out onto the pyramid where he can then mirror and check Uncle afterward. So not the worst routing decision, however, it is going to potentially drain him of his last key.
He did pick up a key right there in the first chest of Aga's tower, and now we're going to see that Uncle check.
Interesting choice to dip in for just the single key there.
He is going to have to complete that. This is all dungeons, meaning Aga 1 is always required.
But then again, he hasn't picked up that lamp on Hylia Island because he has not yet found the flippers, which he's about to find here. So I'd imagine he just didn't want to deal with those dark rooms in the castle tower.
I can't remember where Elminster found the ether medallion. Buane apparently found the fire rod without my noticing. With that fire rod, it looks like he's going to go into Skull Woods. The fire rod was on the landmollas. Thank you, chat. Answer chat, the library held 20 rupees.
So with that fire rod in hand, who else wants to go to Ice Palace? Or Skull Woods?
Buane does have the Bombos medallion and the fire rod, so Ice Palace is completely in play. But he's decided to go to Skull Woods first, which is fair. With the mirror in the book, after we kill the moth, we very well could see a ped check.
I would say on Buane's side, there would be no better chance to do so. With it being all dungeons, it doesn't feel so bad making that check, as you know you're going to have to get those pendants, but I'm running out of things that could be the pedestal.
I mean, the silver arrows could still be there, so...
And the
Chain of Samari was found in the boomerang room of the escape sequence. Buane decided to save a little bit of magic there.
Definitely can't blame them, as Master Sword Mothula not the most fun. And the best thing with all that key farming is we don't have to deal with the Gibdo in this room.
But he did it anyway.
Because he's greedy.
20 keys! 20 keys, Buane. You've got enough, buddy.
You would have to think he did. He does.
Making very fast work of the moth. We did not get to see the thing I have constantly hoped for. And a key on Mothula. Buane must be happy.
All keys, all the time. This is retro.
I was really hoping to find a seed one day where the lamp drops off the moth. I really need to see this, just for my sanity.
Oh, the memes, they live.
Elminster deciding also not to go left side swamp and forgo the big chest as well. And we are going to get that ped check. Is the pedestal alive? Is the ped dead? Powder is on the pedestal. Ped is dead. Powder only turning those anti-fairies into a single heart.
But but I suppose that would be the logical access to the Magic Bat Cave. But we had the mushroom, but I think we both turned them in.
We did turn in the mushrooms for those 5 rupees. I didn't think about the magic bat. If the bat is holding the bow... Wait, the bat? The bat
can only hold
the bow.
Only the silver arrows are the only thing that could be something of use on the pedestal. Everything else we either already hold or is locking a pendant dungeon, whether that be the ice rod or the bow.
Yeah, so those silvers could be with the magic bat. Buane making his second foray into Thieves Town to claim revenge on Blind. With Master Sword in hand, as Elminster faces off against Argus and his Argives.
They really thought long and hard about the name for those little puff balls. And chat pointing out that Buane is still holding on to his mushrooms, so...
So Buane is holding as much as he can do the fake powder glitch once he finds the cane. I think. I've never been able to pull off the fake powder glitch. I'm pretty sure you need the cane of Samaria.
Yep, you need Cane of Samaria, the mushroom, and I believe the flippers somehow play a part into that.
Between our two runners, we have found all the medallions. And Elminster takes down Argus, claiming his crystal, and Buane takes down Blind, claiming his crystal.
And most importantly, gaining redemption for that earlier loss.
This is game 3 of Buane and Elminster's bracket match. They held their first two back-to-back, which was an excellent show put on by both runners, and they are putting on an excellent show now. Please do be sure to follow both these runners if you're not already. Thank them for putting on a wonderful show for us.
They're putting themselves out there, so the least you can do is show them a little bit of love.
₹20 on the explosive tablet as Buane climbs Death Mountain. I think he's going for the Tower of Hera, that pendant found within. Since he has the fire rod and the lamp, he will be able to check that item hidden in the basement. It's not like he's lacking for keys, as Elminster decides to make the jump into Ice Palace without the fire rod from the land mullets.
Now he will be able to clear it with his curtain equipment, and it'll make it a little bit quicker as he has access to the Cane of Samaria.
The lamp is in plain sight. Elminster getting a clue. Hey, go get the lamp off Lake Hylia Island, buddy. Buane checking the ether pedestal tablet and getting a piece of heart for his trouble. I am tripping all over my words tonight.
That is okay. It happens to the best of us. Making our way through Ice Palace here, seeing some new information on Elminster's side.
Making quick work of those pen gators with the hookshot. Finding the big key. As Buane picks up his big key inside Tower of Hera.
That's one of the things that is of note in expert mode. While the hookshot does not stun enemies, it will still one-shot the enemies that it is hard-coded to one-shot, like the pen gators or the mini Moldorms.
Or these guys. The electric jellyfish. Their name begins with a B, but I can't remember what they're called properly.
Bari.
And we have a coffee break from Buane as he does go and check the item that Elminster left behind. Boots are in the castle. And it's a lovely journal entry for Elminster.
Gotta love it.
Answer chat, the two modes that were vetoed by our runners, Elminster decided to veto Defeat Ganon, and Buane vetoed Randomizer.
So that left us with Expert Retro. Everyone likes that, right?
Now their second match, the match in which Elminster chose the match, was an expert mode. So these two runners do have some experience playing in expert. And the item that was left behind by Elminster is the map.
And Elminster does realize that with this being retro and having the Cane of Samaria, not much time. The Ice Palace bomb jump doesn't save nearly as much time as it normally would.
And we are still looking for our bow, so you do want to check as many items as you can.
But with the cane and the ability to just take keys from other places, it makes the routing a little bit easier and not have to worry about messing up that Ice Palace bomb jump and losing a bit of time.
So as a reminder, retro, it gives us the fact that the bow no longer requires arrows, but rupees. 10 rupees per wooden arrow, 50 rupees per silver arrow.
And speaking of silvers, we just found them there in the vanilla big chest in Ice Palace.
No! It's where the blue mail's normally found. That's a great find. And the bow! The bow is in Ice Palace!
Ice Palace having that Ganon care package there.
I called it!
Burn the witch. Burn the witch.
Not the first time I've heard that. So we need Buane to go to Ice Palace to pick up those arrows and that bow.
So now, all we're looking for, so here we are an hour and 10 minutes in, and we're just looking for an ice rod for go mode. You know, that item that can be, like, almost anywhere, including in Ganon's tower.
I didn't think about that. It can be in Ganon's tower since Turtle Rock is not a crystal.
So, chat, just for a little bit of fun, where do you think that ice rod is hiding? Personal, so Scantor, what are you thinking for an ice rod location?
I want to be very, very cruel. I want it on Trolldorm too.
I'm thinking Ice Armos.
That would be appropriate. Journal entry for Buane telling him that the lamp is in plain sight as both of our runners are now in Ice Palace. Elminster decided to drop down the pit and get some health back from the fairy pool that's down here. Well, I say pool, and really it's kind of a skating rink.
Pool, skating rink, you're just happy to have a little bit more health. As we try to solve the irrational fraction that Elminster's timer is.
He started out with a smiley face on there, and now it's... Yeah, semester's finished. I don't want to look at math anymore. Elminster having no choice but to use the Bombos medallion to free Coltstare from his icy shell, which would be more magically efficient than the Fire Rod, but a little slower. Going with Hammer Strat, since it does do Tempered Sword damage. Same thing as the spins from the Master Sword here. One puff down. So chat has said that they would like it on the Laser Bridge, they want it in Turtle Rock, they want it in Pod, they want it on... Yeah, Vit, they want this thing to be everywhere.
It can be... the only place it cannot be left in this seed is on Trinex. And we know it's not the pedestal.
Buane decided to do the bomb jump. Buane, you do need to check all the items in here, buddy. We need that bow and the silvers, and Elminster seeing the lamp in plain sight on Lake Hylia. Will Elminster go and check what King Zora has for us?
Now, we'll leave him with 900 rupees and enough to buy a few more keys.
And he just might. He's going up north into Zora Domain. And now there's an upside down smiley face on Elminster's timer. Buane finding his silver arrows. Since he did purchase the wooden arrow item, he will be able to pick and choose what he uses.
Unfortunately, at the expert mode, will leave those only until Ganon, but you need to make that purchase in order to make that switch when you reach the Ganon room. That's something that we hope that Elminster remembers before he reaches the Ganon fight.
And Elminster finding out that King Zora had the most expensive bombs in Hyrule, 500 rupees for free. Buane did pick up his bow.
Premium, handcrafted, artisanal bombs.
Are they organic too?
And gluten-free.
Ooh. Buane getting hassled by the Pen Gator.
No BPA.
Or MSG.
And no tears.
How many more of these do you have?
I can keep going.
Elminster gonna go south and hit the Lake Hylia Island to get his lamp.
He would have loved to have had lamp a little bit sooner, but
He got that hint in the Ice Palace and decided to check Lake Hylia Island. Buane having a little bit of trouble with the, he's gonna bomb jump. And a lovely bomb jump it was. Getting rid of those Friezos. As he makes his way down to Cold Stare. Elminster checking the hobo.
Towards just getting a little bit of a tip for the journey. And he's going to be nearing close to his maximum heart count.
I think he's got 3 pieces of heart right now. Next time he decides to change his sub-weapon, we'll be able to see for sure. Buane picking up some health and some magic. Is he going to go back and do what Elminster did and go up north? No, he is not. He's going straight to Cold Stare with 3 hearts.
And Elminster, on our right-hand side, goes ahead and starts his rupee farm. Or his key farm, excuse me.
I don't think he's going to go for as many as Buane has. There's making sure, and then there's a little bit of overkill.
Or you could be like Buane and just get all the keys.
Buane decided to go for Fire Rod after Cold Stare escapes his corner, taking out 1 puff. And he used his green potion he picked up from the race game to get 25% of his magic back in 2 shots. He does take out the 2nd puff. Elminster continuing his key farm. As Buane takes out the puff ball. 5 rupees for his trouble, and a lovely blue crystal. The Fire Rod was found in Desert Palace, held by the Landmalas. Elminster picking up his arrow, as he is now only got 40 rupees to his name.
And it does harken back to the fact that Elminster has cleared most of Desert Palace, but did not have a lamp at the time to make it to the back. And Elminster is deciding instead he's going to go take care of the Pod Eastern combo here.
And that's just efficient routing, being able to clear Pod, then step out, Mire straight out, and go into Eastern.
And taking a look at where we're at right now, so just looking at completion, in the early stages it looked like Elminster was kind of ahead, but Buane is just making a little bit sounder routing decisions, just making the right calls, and he's cleared quite a bit of the dungeons already left to do, and with the Pod Eastern on his mind next, but it looks like he's stepping into the bomb shop, and we can see our Pyramid Fairy.
We're going to see what 2 items that fairy is hiding. Oh no, he jumped off and left the bomb! He's going to have to buy it again!
Oops!
Oh no! You can't jump with that bomb, it will start to detonate. It gets upset if you leave it. Looks like Elminster's go-moding Eastern?
Was he? Did he come in? I think he came in here earlier. Yeah.
He did come in here earlier.
Yeah, so he's gonna go ahead and all he has to do is head back straight to the boss. So he's gonna have to check his rupee count here.
He got enough for 5 arrows. He might be going to the right-hand room, which we don't see very often in Randomizer, where there is, in fact, a room full of blue rupees. But he got a 20 off that Igor, and I think he's thinking he can...
I wonder if this is a moment of forgetting you're playing retro.
5 rupees and the final bottle found by Buane with the Fat Fairy.
Alright, so with the Pyramid Fairy down, still looking for that ice rod. We got the Pod Eastern combo ahead of us, but Buane needs to head into the escape sequence and find the plethora of items inside.
And that is the play he's going to make, because we are about to see the Armos Knights versus ElminsterRTA.
So he has 4 arrows to fire at Armos, so he can kill 1 Armos Knight with his bow.
If it were me, I'd save that for that red Armos Knight at the end of it. This is really going to eat up a lot of time, as the Armos Knights are pretty tough against the sword.
Definitely would believe that perhaps Buane has a bit more experience on the retro side, as he seems to be playing out the resource management a bit more efficiently, taking that time to go through that bow and arrow game. Coming up huge, as he's got 18 keys to his name and still has 440 rupees.
Picking up his Canis Samaria and his spare key, Buane just loves having a full key ring.
He's got to be getting close to the point where he can just go mode a bunch of stuff. And he hasn't gone through Pod, and that's going to be 6 keys, technically.
Elements are getting ready to start using his arrows. And he gets 5 rupees for his troubles and a crystal.
The Armos Knights are an interesting, are one of the more interestingly coded enemies in the game. The higher the sword, the less damage they take. They can also be killed by the boomerang. I believe that's 48 boomerang contacts per Armos Knight.
Chad is calling Buane the Keymaster, but can we find the Gatekeeper?
How does Buane have those keys? He farmed the money off the bow game and bought them.
Elminster in Pod now. He's already been here, so he's going to just dash right back and take out that big ugly dinosaur in the back. Now both our runners do still have to make their way through Misery Mire and Turtle Rock.
And depending on where that if we can find that ice rod before him, we could go mode through it. But I would think if you're in these runners' positions, you take care of the Pod Eastern combo, you clear Mire, and then you maybe just hit GT.
And I'm pretty sure Elminster just remembered he was playing retro as he entered the Mimic room with only 10 rupees. He was able to find 10 more to kill the red Mimic and get out of there. But now he's broke, which means no arrows for Elminster.
And he still needs to fire that arrow into the Igor statue to make it to the Helmosaur King.
And Buane starts making his way up. Aga 1.
Lamp in hand, it's not the worst play with him being in the location. There's no better time, and that I believe the ice rod can be hiding in here.
Does find that key in that first chest. Makes his way to the second floor. This is where Buane farming those rupees at the archery game and then grabbing all those keys, finding 5 rupees in the dark maze, is really coming back to help him here. Elminster's going to have to go back to Pod once he finds more rupees. Elminster are going to make the dip into Misery Mire. freeze that murder dactyl.
Bird toss, bird toss.
I'm a fan of them grabbing the bird and walking into Mire with it.
Aww. We can't have everything, can we?
Buane picking up the hint that just a joke. Just a joke.
Oh, I mean, we are playing retro mode, so they're at least thematic.
This is true. Because a lot of those joke hints were taken from the original Legend of Zelda game, such as Dodongos hate smoke. There are no Dodongos in Link to the Past, but they were in the original Legend of Zelda and would stop moving if you placed a bomb near them and the smoke touched their face.
And don't forget to aim for the Eye of Goma. Interesting that did not make an appearance in this one.
I'd forgotten that Goma was in the original, and Elminster finds the 10 bombs as hello Zelda, goodbye Zelda on Buane's side.
Is it Zelda or is it a different maiden?
That is the Princess Zelda.
It looks like an odd sprite compared to her other sprite.
As before Ocarina of Time, Zelda was a brunette.
Today we learned.
She was a brunette in the original, she was a brunette in Link to the Past. Or, not Link to the Past, obviously Link to the Past, but also Adventure of Link. Though, technically those were two entirely separate Zeldas, despite being the same Link.
And it was interesting to see so we watched Buane do a little bit of boomerang dashing here in Aga 1.
Guess it gives him something to do while he's waiting for the wizard's shadow to bounce around, and there's another blue ball.
I do love the item dashing. Exclusive to the Japanese 1.0 version of the ROM, which the randomizer is based upon.
That's why we use it for all those lovely glitches you get to see some of our runners do.
So there is one negative glitch, as you are able to be hit by fireballs as you're falling down a hole.
I've noticed that, and it's quite painful. Aga 1 down for Buane. He did need to clear that, because this is all dungeons.
For all they're good, there has to be just a little touch of bad.
All magic comes with a price?
Indeed.
Buane, mirroring out of the Dark World, going to take his flute as Elminster makes his way to the right side of Misery Mire. The little big key chest, finding the big key!
And as I anticipated, Buane, I'm thinking, is going to check off that Pod Eastern combo, and then I'd imagine the next step is to head to Mire. And if you don't find the Ice Rod by then, I think you just clear Ganon's tower.
27 chests in Ganon's tower. Yeah, that's the play. Though the tradition is that if you don't have Ice Rod by the time you get up to Turtle Rock, it's on Laser Bridge.
That's 5 places. That's 4 possible locations, or 27 possible locations. Pick your poison.
Woof. Buane gonna pick up his cape from Sasha Lara. We saw Elminster grab very early in this scene.
But it does open up the interesting possibility of, do you want to spend the time climbing the mountain a second time?
Well, we know that Spike Cave is just a waste of time. Only some rupees at the end of it. So
it was interesting to note that Buane did remember to clear out their iframes before leaving the little bit of a jungle there, so Kiki did follow him.
Elminster going into the rupee farming room of Misery Mire, which is not much of a farm, more of a small garden.
You'll take what you can at this rate. That's all.
That does give him 62 rupees, so 6 arrows to use on Vitreous. It's 8 wooden arrows to Vitreous' pupil to kill him. He's still got to deal with all those nasty little eyes that just keep swarming you. They deal 2 hearts of damage each. It's just not fun.
No, it is not.
Elminster was leaving a trail of fire behind him by spamming the lamp for some reason. I'm not familiar with anyone ever doing that. I'm not sure what...
He's draining his magic for some reason.
Fake powder?
Oh, he's gonna he just fake powdered those anti-fairies.
And with his being expert, fake powder only turns those or powder in general just turns the anti-fairies into a single heart. Not fun. That is a carryover from hard mode, but it is far more merciful than what happens in insane mode, where you powder an anti-fairy and it turns into a bee.
Not the bees. Not like this. You're in my eyes.
And we get Elminster using bomb strats against Vitreous's little minions.
Speaking of in my eyes.
Oh, oh, oh. He's only got 3 hearts. He's got to play this real careful.
Those eyeballs and those lightnings are a little bit unpredictable at times. Ooh, nice footwork there.
Buane has maxed out his health for this match. Now, Elminster is still sitting with those 8 hearts.
Thank you, Retro Mode.
Thank you, Expert Mode. Woof. Oh, there's bees in chat.
Not the bees. And he's down to a single heart. Any damage in this room is going to take him down.
Oh, and he takes a death on Vitreous. Not a fun... No, that... You really want to have a lot more rupees if you're going to fight Vitty in Retro, because especially with it being expert mode, you've got no armor, you're stuck with the Master Sword. The arrows will help you so much because they kill those eyes so fast.
Press B to pay respects.
Woof. And Buane about to perform the hammer yump.
Wait, you have 12 keys. You probably don't need to do this. But
he's doing it for the fans. Entertainment. He knows we're being restreamed. He wants to show off a little.
But not only that, I mean, it is... I think it's technically faster?
I think you're right. He doesn't have to worry about the other Helmasaur, the mini Helmasaur. He doesn't have to worry about picking up the jar at the end there, dealing with the potential lag from the falling tiles. Elminster going back for round 2 with Vitreous. Still only with 60 rupees. Buane filling up his hearts and his bomb bag before going down and facing off against King Helmasaur.
He will be able to spend the arrows if he so chooses. He's sitting okay on money management. He'll need to make sure he has at least 200 for Ganon himself.
And with those silver arrows costing 50 rupees each, you do want to have at least 200 if you are absolutely certain of your aim. And beyond that, you want to be maybe a little extra, maybe 250s, just in case you do hit. Because if you do miss, you are going to have to play the silverless strats with those lovely spins, and that's never fun with Master Sword.
But he just barely misses that lightning there. Thankfully, both of our runners did remember to buy the wooden arrow, so they will be able to make the switch due to the bug in the retro mode that all of the runners in this tournament were made aware of.
Yep, they found out the bug and they made sure everyone was aware of it, so that things were indeed fair. And Elminster taking another death to Vitreous as Buane enters his fight with King Helmasaur, holding out his sword while utilizing the hammer to clean off that mask and stop him from being turned around, saving him a few frames here and there. to speed this up a little.
Not only that, but extending the hitbox just a little bit, which feels good for the hammer. He's going to go ahead and take a few hammer pokes there and take down the Helmsor King.
Elminster deciding that discretion is the better part of valor and bouncing out of Misery Mire. I think he's going for the Houlihan room, which you can... Nope, he's going for King's Tomb.
And for... Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, please.
So I was going to explain the bug in the chat. There is a bug with retro mode currently where it is possible to fire the wooden arrows without purchasing them. However, once you obtain the silver arrows, you will not be able to switch to the silvers until you gain that wooden arrow. In retro mode, you were required to buy the wooden arrow for 80 rupees typically. However, it's not working as intended.
This seed was chosen by the bot, with 2 vetoes, one given to each of our racers. Buane decided to veto Randomizer. Elminster vetoed kill Ganon. Now, I'm surprised Elminster didn't go for the Houlihan room there in the graveyard, which you can access by bombing yourself into the grave that normally leads you to the back of the escape. But also, just another screen over, you can use the more traditional Houlihan entrance at the Great Ferry, or the ferry pond, alongside the river, the other side from the witch.
No, absolutely here, and Buane's going to go ahead and gun their way through Eastern Palace, still looking for that ice rod. We did not see it in Misery Mire, though I will admit I was not counting items. I did not see if Vitreous was indeed holding on to something or not.
I must admit I also was not counting items in Misery Mire with Elminster, but we'll be able to start counting items with Buane here shortly once he makes his way through Eastern. Some cash in Palace of Darkness. There's always cash in Palace of Darkness.
Thanks, game. But again, they can't all be useful. In fact, the hints in this seed haven't been all that useful. We've saved a little bit of time with Mimic Cave, and that's really about it.
There was the hint about the boots, and there was the hint about the lamp.
The lamp hint came up a little bit useful for Elminster, but by the time Buane saw either of those hints, he'd already cleared past the item it was hinting towards.
Elminster using sword spins against the green mimics, which is going to save him rupees. He did have to bounce out a pod earlier, being, penniless, because he does have to shoot an arrow into this Igor statue to get down to face King Helmsor.
And if you're playing if you're playing a current version of the randomizer, if you find an item is locked behind the bow, that means it's the Helmsor King.
Chat, the maximum hearts in expert mode is 9. However, there's only 1 heart container in the item pool. But thanks to this being retro and the 4 rooms being changed into choose 1, a heart container or a blue potion refill, we're able to pick up more heart containers, making their maxing of their health a little bit more expedited, as opposed to having to gather up a load of pieces of heart as Elminster takes on King Helmsor and Buane prepares his fight against the Armos Knights.
And definitely showing how Buane's excellent use of the archery game, as well as just general overall money management throughout the seed, or just being hilariously rich, has led him to be able to clear the rather expensive Armos Knights fight and be holding on to a dozen keys at this juncture of the race.
Buane using the traditional strats against the Armos Knights did waste 1 arrow, but he still has 32 remaining, as they both claim the prizes out of their respective dungeons. Crystal for Buane, the Pendant of Power out of Pod for Elminster.
So Buane has 120 extra rupees to play with, needs to leave himself with 200 to take down the big pig. I imagine a flute to 6 is what's coming up next for Buane.
And a flute to 6 for both of our runners, exactly what happened. Elminster going again for round 3 with Vitreous. Or perhaps just to Desert Palace for his Landmilla fight to claim the fire rod that they are guarding. That's exactly what he's doing. He's going to go get his fire rod.
Chance number 2 for a bird toss, though I doubt in Dwayne's position he may take the time. I guess my question for you, Scantor, in Buane's position, once you defeat Misery Mire, and you don't, provided that we don't find the Ice Rod on Vitreous, are you going GT or are you going Turtle Rock?
I'm going to go GT simply for item density and the fact that it will still be required no matter what. And once I clear GT, I know for a fact it's gotta be a Turtle Rock.
Definitely seems like the play. Though I have to wonder, we have not seen either of our grumpy fish checked at this juncture. We do know that one of them is holding on to cash, but they could have been holding onto the Ice Rod this entire time. There are a few overworld
We have
checks.
seen King Zora.
We have seen King Zora, so that does. What did he have?
He had bombs.
Okay, so
The artesian organic bombs.
that's right. So I guess that's catfish checked off for Buane. Trying to think if there's any more overworld locations we have not yet seen.
Buane has not done Spike Cave, but we know that only contains 5 rupees. I cannot think of any other overworld checks we have not seen or gotten the items out of.
I'm trying to remember if somebody went above the post at Graveyard Ledge.
We did get into Graveyard Ledge with Elminster and found, I believe, rupees? Fire Rod for Elminster, making quick work of Landmillas. It was 300 rupees. Thank you, Fabrice, our lovely tracker, keeping me honest.
So it looks like at this point our Ice Rod's got to be dungeon locked somewhere.
Well, Buane is checking every chest here in Misery Mire, so once he gets down to Vitreous, we can be pretty certain. Yep, unless it's on Vidi, it is not Misery Mire.
And Boyd just slightly miscalculating his reach to that pot there.
Decided to hook shot and fall off to reset that and go down to Vitreous.
And Chad brings up the point that it could be in Shovel spot. We have not seen the shovel found yet, so that could be hiding. Oh, there
Anywhere.
we go. So how about Shovel on Moldorm 2 to Ice Rod?
Oh, that's cruel. That is heartless. If I did see that and Ice Rod was not a GT, I would still go Turtle Rock for routing. Ugh. Chat, you're being sadistic tonight.
And we do know that it cannot be on the magic bat because the powder is on the pedestal. So we will not have to worry about using the fake powder.
Yeah, so that's the thing.
But did you know that it's possible to fake real powder?
I have seen people do it, and it's a little mind-blowing. Buane, 3 hearts, 32 arrows against Vitreous, and he's gonna go with bombs.
He's gonna have to soften up those eyeballs a bit because he doesn't want to spend too much more time farming money at this point.
He's gonna have to be really careful. Those bombs are handy as they do damage. He's gonna go with the cape. And he's utilizing a small glitch that if you are swinging the sword, it does slow down the rate at which the magic cost
Get out.
for the cape. But you saw how fast it went down. That's that 3 times magic use for the cape. Just being careful. And Elminster is in his Vitreous fight. Round 3 for Elminster.
I have to say that at this point, I would have to call Vitreous the hardest fight in retro mode with Expert.
I'm going to be inclined to agree with you on that one. Viddy is not a fun fight. Elminster getting vengeance on those little eyeballs, and now we just have to deal with Vitreous himself. Both are runner.
Buane does not have enough arrows to take him down. Looks like they're both going for
Buane has enough arrows. It's only 8 arrows to take out the eyeball. Elminster's sitting at 6 arrows. It seems Buane has decided to save his arrows for something else. Elminster getting his kill, and so does Buane. 20 rupees is the reward, and the crystal.
Alright, so I guess, I think it's time to start a game.
If they, yeah, so get your guess in as to where the big key is found in Ganon's Tower 1 through 22. What do you think, Bungie?
I typically go for 17. That's just my number. Now, do note that if you want to get a spot on our leaderboard, you must be a supporter of the Speed Gaming Network of channels, either via a subscription or a cheer of 250 bits or more in total.
Any of the Speed Gaming Network channels. Elminster making his way to Skull Woods as Buane starts climbing Death Mountain.
I would have to imagine that Buane is going to go ahead and head on up to GT first.
You're getting a little extra time than you normally would, since most people like to go Turtle Rock then GT. You just get to give a lot more time to put your guesses in. We have not seen the inside of Turtle Rock yet, and Buane is going to go to use the Turtle Rock Warp, which is the most efficient way to get to Ganon's Tower. Here we go! Utilizing the speed glitch, he's going to open Turtle Rock while he's up here, which is going to save him some time as Elminster gets hassled by the Gibbos lighting those torches. Now, personally, for my guess, I like number 13. There's no reason, that's just my lucky number.
That's pretty much the same with my 17.
And here we go. Buane is going for Ganon's Tower. Get your guesses in really fast, because once he enters that tower, we are cutting that game off.
The crystals are spinning. Their chances is running out. Get those guesses into chat, folks. I'd love to see you on our leaderboard.
And chat pointing out something very amusing. Both our runners skipped left side swamp, so the ice rod could be in Swamp Palace. That's the game here, guys. All right, let's count the chests. 20 rupees in 1. Small key in 2. Not that Buane needs it.
All the keys, all the time, and he's going right side.
Will he stop? He will not stop for the tile room. Elminster going back into Mothula's lobby to pick up the last item there after killing the moth.
Still looking for that ice rod, so he's still crossing off that list.
A little fast on your cane swing.
But you don't have to be a little bit careful with his magic usage down here. He's getting pretty low.
He does have a small decanter in the right skull here, which he's going to pick up.
4 more checks here. Number 3, piece of heart. Number 4, the cane of Berna. Number 5, a piece of heart. And number 6, the compass.
We're going to go left side. He does not need to go into the treadmill room and pick up the key there. He's got more than enough.
Number 7, Bob's torch. Bob lives with just a 5 rupee.
Bob is our little glitch friend who is caused from an item that is not a small key being on that torch, corrupting the sprite of an anti-fairy on the room above the Ice Armos.
And number 8, some bombs. Number 9, 5 rupees. Number 10, 5 rupees. And 11, a big 20.
Just more arrows in Buane's quiver.
$12, 5 more.
Elminster now opening up Turtle Rock with his Bombos medallion.
I imagine he's also going to trip to Ganon's tower up ahead.
Buane still does have the advantage on him because he has cleared Aga 1. And Elminster entering Turtle Rock.
We have an interesting bit of divergence, folks.
A journal entry on that hint. The bow is in Ice Palace.
Alright, lucky number 13 here. 5 rupees.
Well,
We're heading on to the randomizer room.
Yep, here we go for Rando Room.
Name so as you're only going to visit this in randomizer.
Small key in the first chest of Turtle Rock for Elminster.
4 more chests here. 14, the big key. He's going to have to keep checking, folks, as he needs to find the ice rod.
So, who guessed 14?
And the correct answer is 14. The first sub or supporter was Hamal1. Congratulations to you.
Enjoy your spot on the leaderboard.
Go ahead and save me up. Not quite seen it yet, but there's still a lot of action left in this tournament. We are just in the first phase of the bracket stage, folks. We're just in the round of 32. There's still the round of 16, 8, 4, and finally the winners in third place. Lots and lots more games yet to play.
As the tournament ticks down, we will get some of our former runners here coming into the commentary booth to commentate on the matches here. Hello, Bob! And Buane is deciding to let Bob out. Bob lives. Just a small key in Bob's chest as we drop down to the Ice Armos fight.
Alright, Chad, we're still looking for that ice rod. Where have you guessed is where we're holding on to? I had guessed Ice Armos here, but we'll see what we've got up ahead.
Looks like Elminster decided to abandon Turtle Rock and join Buane in Ganon's tower.
I've got 20, 20, and 20. It's coming up 20 in Ice Armos. And we're heading up to the ascent. Actually, we're still at the tactile
room.
And our tracker bringing up a good point. Buane, remember we still need to check it. That item could be hiding in the big chest of GT.
We don't often see the big chest in Ganon's tower get checked as really the only thing we need. And Buane using the glitch here with the cape. If you have the cape equipped and you utilize it and you grab onto the wall, it stops the magic ticking down. A wonderful, handy trick to use in the tile room of Ganon's tower.
Has to be probably one of my favorite cheese glitches in the game. That and the Samaria punt with the dash.
Is that a glitch? Because I remember doing that on the Super Nintendo back in the day.
I thought that was the item dash for the Cane of Samaria.
And Buane finding the bloomerang, he did not get. No, Buane, go back. The
Gotta check the big chest.
Maybe Elminster will remember. There's still so many items.
So we still got the big chest of GT. We've still got most of Turtle Rock and the left side of Swamp. Where is our ice rod holding on?
Well, I suppose this was a good play by Buane, because once you do finish Aga 2, you are thrown off the mountain and dropped onto the pyramid. So this could be good routing, provided that the ice rod is in Turtle Rock.
And thank you to Chocolate Leotard for the 300-bit cheer. Thank you for supporting Speed Gaming.
Your support does let us continue to put on great shows like this one. Okay, what have we got? Nothing much. Wayne getting a 4th piece of heart. Now, it won't increase his heart count, but it will fill him back up, but...
It did.
What?
He has 10 hearts.
So, the debate we were having at the beginning of this match was, will the retro of this with the extra heart containers override the max hearts? And it seems that it has. I'm fairly certain that is not what has been intended.
But that is retro mode. It kind of plays a bit weird with the seed.
Oh my! It seems we have lost Elminster's stream. He is still running. He is still fighting, guys. Don't give up on him yet.
We may not be able to see him, but he is still fighting through this seed.
And links with the hashtag charity cheer of 120 minutes. Thank you very much for that. Reminder that Twitch is doing a support for direct relief. If you add hashtag charity to any cheer for any of your streamers, they will donate 20 cents for every 100 bits that Twitchers do donate. And your streamer still gets full credit for any bits you give them. So just a second of your time to support a good cause.
As we
Vanilla Big Key.
And I can't help but comment on the giant Armos on ice on Elminster's side.
This is not what I had in mind when I came to the show today.
No, but I definitely approve. Alright, so heading on in, taking care of these Hokobokus for Buane, still on the hunt for Ice Rod Tober.
Wayne thinking about his move. What is he doing?
As Elminster still trying to chase those ice Armos through the ice.
And it looks like he's doing it with his
Master Sword.
With his Master Sword.
It's the delicate dance of the. And then we've got another 400 bits from Chocolate Leotard. Thank you for support, and the Dino Phycia. Thank you for the 250 hashtag charity cheers.
So
they're
many
coming in
charity
hot
bits.
and fast, guys. Paul the Black 100, 400 with Colin B Games. Thank you guys so much. Files with 357.
Elminster picking up a fairy to recharge his health in Ganon's tower and bouncing back out.
And Elminster has also orphaned the big chest. Big chest of Ganon's tower, left side of swamp. The higher side of Ganon's tower is still hanging out there. There is still a lot of places that ice rod can be hiding, and of course it can, because that's the ice rod. That's what it does.
Come on, guys, you've abandoned so much. Wayne heading for the laser bridge. This is where the joke is, that it's always here if you can't find it. The shovel!
Oh, God!
Oh, no! The
And-
small key.
And now
The
he's getting...
map! Wayne having none of that Beatles crap. And 5 rupees! Oh, no!
It's not here! And thank you, Akago, for the cheer of 300 bits to charity.
Wayne is gonna open the safety door.
I wonder if he's thinking of trying to save his portal, but with the locations left, they really can't.
Where? So we found the shovel on Laser Bridge, and that's where Buane is going.
So if the shovel is the ice rod, he can save his portal and go back to it and head right back to Trine X.
But if the ice rod isn't here, it could be in left side swamp. It could be in the big chest again. It's tower.
Right,
Down to 3 things.
Gotta love that shovel dash, and it's just a big 20.
Where's the ice rod?
The hunt for ice rod continues, and we're gonna flute back to the village here. I think he's got a couple other overworld locations left to check. He has not been to the Boots Lock locations yet.
Oh no, he has not. We saw those with Elminster. We know they're not where they are. It's not where the ice rod is.
Alright, so going back, we're just, if we turn back the clock about 15 minutes, we're thinking Buane is in the lead. However, with this, the elusiveness of the ice rod, we're neck and neck here, folks. Who's going to make that a right call that's going to get him to the ice rod? We know it is not on the pedestal, and it cannot be on the magic bat.
It's gotta be in the big chest of Ganon's tower or left side swamp.
And how long will it take our runners to remember the big chest of Ganon's tower? Buane is back on the mountain.
He's got the hook shot. He's going back to Ganon's tower, I think. But if it's in swamp...
Elminster still has a bit of,
got a bit of a
rock to clear through here. Where will they go next?
It could also be an upstairs Ganon's tower. Chad is correct, so I think that's what Buane's thinking. The higher item concentration is Ganon's tower. Will he remember the big chest that he orphaned in the basement?
Part of me feels like a climb to Moldorm 2 and then mirroring out may have been slightly better.
I'm gonna agree with you. Mostly because my prediction where the ice rod was is Moldorm 2.
Then again, I'm not nearly at these guys' caliber, so I can't blame. None of the calls they are making are technically incorrect. They just come out incorrect for this particular use case.
As they are at this level for a good reason. They are both excellent runners and have worked very hard to get to this point. Not only making it through the qualifiers and the group stage, but the amount of practice that these two racers have put into this game. And Buane going to the top of Ganon's tower, orphaning, completely abandoning the big chat.
And we still have not making a visit to the big chest here. I wonder if Buane is forgetting. One of those things you don't see often, but...
Where are our runners going to go? Elminster's climbing the mountain again. Is he going back to Ganon's tower?
Yeah,
he's going to go back to Ganon's tower. Getting hassled by that dead rock.
Buane of Note is down to 288 rupees here. He's starting to get a little low when it comes to arrows. He needs to hold on to 200 for the Ganon fight, provided we can find the ice rod to make it there.
Oh, they'll find it. Just don't know where yet. They don't have a choice. They've got to find it.
That BMOS knocking Buane out of the way of the shot he wanted to take at that Stelphos.
Buane gonna go with Fire Rod and Sword Strats against the Landmo 2 fight. Making quick work of 2 of them. And the 3rd one is down.
Landmo 2 is down, and we're heading further up the tower. We still need to find that ice rod. 3 more chests way up ahead.
Elminster is on Buane's heels, making his way also through the gauntlet.
So at this point, if you're in these runner's shoes, if you don't find the ice rod up here, do you face Ganon or not?
I do not. I mirror out and I drop left side swamp. Because the getting sent back to start, get to the pyramid, is having to climb the mountain all over again to get to Turtle.
But if you're thinking you're going Swamp Palace after this, maybe you decide to go. Just go ahead and take care of it, and then you just flute to 7.
Fair, and then save quit out. You start. There's the ice rod.
Well, 2 hours, 6 minutes, and 8 seconds. Buane has entered go mode, and has to feel a little bit frustrated.
Only 4 chests remaining inside Ganon's tower, and he pulls it off. Ooh boy! And now we face Moldorm 2. Looks like we're going hammer strats. Careful, Buane, don't get knocked down.
But after all we've gone through now, and where the leads went through, we were just thinking, there was a bigger gap. Now we're just maybe a minute or 2 apart between these 2 runners. It could definitely come down to Ganon execution here, as we are forced to do a Master Sword fight.
Thank you, Chocolate Leotard, for the bits there. So Elminster still making his way up the gauntlet. He will find his ice rod shortly as Buane enters Geometry Wars with the wizard. Make nice triple.
Definitely a great setup there. Unfortunately, he gets a blue ball there and misses that other shot. And for those asking, why is he clearing Aga? He has to. And at this point, it's not worth mirroring out to have to climb the tower yet again. Because once he defeats Trinex, he will be able to save and quit back to the pyramid and drop right in.
Alright, summoning the duck in the Dark World and inside.
And I think at this point we're gonna... It really comes down to execution here. It's Buane's race to lose, as Elminster still needs to take care of Aga 1.
And he does find his ice rod. ElminsterRTA. 2 hours, 8 minutes. Go mode.
Or is that like an... Is that like an H?
I think that's 2 backwards Fs. Elminster deciding to use the fake powder to gain a heart off of the Anti-Fairy.
And with the free full magic decanter there, not the worst play.
He's going to use Master Sword Spin Strats, which does do the same amount of damage as the hammer and the Metal Sword. And Moldorm 2 down.
Alright, now Buane needs to go ahead and climb the mountain and dash his way through Turtle Rock. Already done most of the work.
Picking up the piece of heart on Moldorm 2's chest and getting his 10th heart container.
And more importantly, a full heart refill.
Got a little trouble there from the bumpers in that Helmosaur. Now he enters Geometry Wars with Ganon.
But his first of the two required geometry checks, as Buane already cleared through Aga 1, Elminster still will have to go to the castle tower.
Now, if Elminster does forget and drops into the Ganon fight, Ganon will mock him incessantly that he has not completed the task given to him, and will not be able to be killed.
I do believe the proper term is dingus. And down goes Aga 2 for Elminster.
We've got one more Aga fight coming up, but I'm pretty sure. Well, he might mirror here at the pyramid and jump into Aga 1, and then climb the mountain to get to Turtle Rock, which Buane is making fast progress through, having already gone through here checking everything. Making quick work of the pokies.
And
Elminster takes a bet.
And to go through this, both of our runners cleared through GT, still not looking through the extra. They cleared through the basement, noped out after not finding the ice rod, headed into Turtle Rock, didn't find it there, head back in to find it only in the twin Helmosaur room on the tower ascent.
What a place for that ice rod to be.
And Elminster decided against it and took the death warp for the heart refill and is heading up to Turtle Rock. We'll complete that, and then we'll probably save and quit to the pyramid, mirror over, and take care of Aga 1 before taking down Ganon, where Buane only has to take down Trinex and head straight for the big pig.
We're going to see bacon today, folks. Matters who's going to get it first. Elminster utilizing his portal that he left behind to save him some time getting to Laser Bridge, and gonna join Buane in the Trinex fight. Buane not risking it with such low magic. To use the hammer against the ice head.
Firehead goes down. We're into the final phase here.
All right, looks like we're going hammer. Hammer with both of our runners, as Elminster declares war on the Firehead of Trinex, now on the ice head.
And Buane pulls off a very clean hammer Trinex, and now all that separates him from victory is a safe and quit to the pyramid and the defeat of the master of all bacon.
Pendant of Courage belongs to Buane. He picked up 20 rupees from Trinex's body.
Alright, and that's goal get for Buane. It's time to face the pig.
Elminster making quick work of his Trinex. As Ganon gets a little philosophical. And Buane's gotta be real careful. He's only got 2 hearts left.
So any damage here as he nicely parries that Trident strike, any damage here will send him to the graveyard. That was an odd pattern for the Trident.
That was a bit bizarre. Elminster using his flute to go back to his house and going north to the castle to take on the wizard Aganim.
I wonder if he forgot he could save and quit. Or if he just wanted to save his hearts, I suppose.
Full hearts right here, I would want to save them too.
And Buane's fleet footwork here still has a few more Master Sword spins to do.
What's he gonna do? He's gonna go down and get the fairy out of this tree.
Definitely seems like the smart play here.
Give himself full hearts before he goes to fight Pig again.
Up to the 10 hearts he would normally not be able to complete, but thank you, Retro Mode. Here we are, round 2. Still has to be careful. That's 8 hearts from a Ganon Hugger, 4 hits from a Trident or Bat Strike.
Looks like he's going to play it a little safer now, but he's getting those double spins in by pitting himself between Ganon and the wall. Good positioning here, going to help him out a lot. Here we are in phase 2 with those fire bats. He can't really do that so much. He's going to use the hook shots and vulnerability. Oh!
Unfortunately,
right
clips the torch. And that's another unfortunate death for Buane, giving Elminster a little bit more life.
As he makes his way through Castle Tower.
We're drawing closer and closer to a race, folks. Now note, Elminster will have to face the exact same pattern of AGA 1 that Buane did. If memory serves me correctly, it was at least rather favorable. Not too many blue balls.
Not going to be able to pin himself between Ganon and the wall this time. However, Buane does have an advantage when it comes to fighting the Big. He does have the rupees required for 4 silver arrow strikes, where Elminster does not. Elminster only has enough for 3.
It is, it's that little bit of money management where I think Buane has held the advantage for most of this seed. Money management, not something you typically think of playing a randomizer seed, but that's retro mode, folks.
Taking a hit there, and another death for Buane.
And suddenly, Elminster's on AGA 1 here.
Got that blue ball, now going into the lightning strike. 5th spell will always be a lightning strike.
We are starting to grow ever closer to the potential here. Elminster still has to make their way and finish off the sorcerer here as he gets another blue ball.
It's all coming down to execution here. Both of these runners are excellent with their execution. It just matter who's going to be a little bit better. Who's got the edge?
Expert mode definitely showing itself here. The green male, that's 4 hits from the fire bats, or 4 hearts from the fire bats, or from the Trident, and 8 hearts from Ganon himself.
Buane using excellent use of the hook shot there to get out of that circle of fire bats, while still getting those double spins in on Ganon. The potions would not help him much because the red potion and the blue potion only heal 1 heart, and Elminster entering the game.
Now, if fall here from Buane could swing this race the other direction. And we're neck and neck here, folks.
We have entered phase 3 with Buane. Gotta make sure he gets those spins in.
And not only that, but Buane remembers to turn the silver arrows on.
It looks like he did.
Had to menu an extra time for it. That's the 2nd strike down for phase 2. Or for phase 3. A nice favorable teleport there for Buane there. Though it is locked between the 2 runners.
Elminster entering his phase 2. Buane double checking, making sure he's got the silvers. We did find them in the Ice Palace. Will he get the torch glitch? He does get the torch glitch. That'll help.
Not a great setup there, so he'll have to wait before firing off that silver arrow. $50 down. Takes a fire bat to the face. Sets himself up. That's arrow number 2. Two more to go, or 100 rupees. 1 arrow remains for Buane. Elminster's growing nearer to phase 3.
4th arrow into Ganon. Buane has finished the pig fight.
Still just a 1x3 bridge that separates him, but between him and victory, and the chance against Andy up in the next round. The fanfare sends sword to the sky, and as he crosses the bridge, the Triforce Ged, I can announce that Buane has finished this race in first place with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 19 minutes, and 37 seconds. GG's to Buane. My god, what a scene.
What a race, especially here at the end. Absolutely fantastic performance from both of our runners. Elminster entering his final phase of the Ganon fight. He's going to have to do the some of the silverless strats here to get those spins in on Ganon as he's teleporting. He's vulnerable for a few frames here. We're going to see if we can get Buane, our winner, in for an interview while we wait for Elminster to finish his Ganon fight.
Have confirmed they will be joining us upon completion. There's a nice double for Elminster.
Yeah, wonderful doubles, silver there.
Just needs one more, and he needs to be careful. Depending on, actually, I'm not sure where Ganon's damage numbers lie.
He has been doing a bunch of these spins, but it is the Master Sword.
And that's
it
the
looks like that was
era.
enough!
Elminster soars right to the sky.
Ooh, what a race. What a seed.
And as he crosses the bridge and gets his Triforce, I can announce that Elminster has finished this race in second place with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 21 minutes, and 21 seconds. GG's to Elminster on an excellent tournament. My god, what a race. So, Scantor, your thoughts on that seat as we wait for our runners to join us here in the interview booth?
The location of the bow and the silvers being one on top of each other in the Ice Palace. Now, I did say I'd like to see the bow in the Ice Palace, but that was crazy. But that ice rod, the ice rod.
And definitely my story of the seed happens to be money management. We'll definitely talk to these runners as we go through, and we're going to go ahead and bring our runners in for the interview. GG's to both of you guys. What a race. I'm still on the edge of my seat.
Hey everybody, GG Elm.
GG.
But, not the finish that I was looking for there, but yeah, that was an experience.
So I'm gonna go ahead and take it first to you, Buane. How about that ice rod?
Yeah, it doesn't matter what mode you play, I guess, right? You end up on an ice rod hunt sometimes, I guess.
And Elminster, same to you.
Ice rod. It really wasn't too bad where it was. If it was in like left side swamp or somewhere I'd chosen to skip, then that would have been a lot worse. But I figured it was pretty likely to be in GT. Funny thing is, I actually vetoed. So I vetoed defeat Ganon in this because our last two games were defeat Ganon, and in both of them, I entered GT and still wasn't in Go mode because one of them had Pendant EP, Pendant Pod, and the other one was Key Sanity, and GT Big Key was in there, and I was just like, okay, well, if I'm going to keep getting seeds like this, I want there to be actually a good reason to double dip GT or whatever.
All right, so I'm gonna. So while we're on the ice rod hunt, I'm curious that the reason to abandon the big chest in Ganon's tower.
Because I'm really dumb. That's about it. I realized it halfway through. I hated everything I did in this seed for the last basically 30 minutes, I think. I couldn't decide how aggressive I wanted to be hunting down the ice rod because I had a lot of dungeons left and just the ice rod to go. I went into pods saying, as soon as I find the big key, I'm going straight to Helmasaur and I'm going to go find the ice rod up in GT. And I chickened out of that. I didn't have the option to skip anything in Eastern because the big key was so late. I said the same thing to myself when I was going into Mire. I was like, all right, we're gonna just go find the big key and go straight to Vitreous. And then the way the big key laid out in that dungeon, I kind of checked almost everything. And then the same thing in GT. I did the downstairs and chickened out of going up. Said it's probably in front of T-Rock. You have a chance at 7-8 items if you go into T-Rock right now. So let's go in T-Rock. And then I realized I was going to lose my. I wouldn't be able to mirror to the front. I'd have to reclimb, and we got the shovel, and I did the boot spots, and by the time I got to Ganon, I was just so tilted. I had been expecting a dot done from Elm, for 20 minutes now, and basically fighting Ganon with one eye on the other screen, and you can see how well that went.
Elminster, same question to you.
What question, sorry?
The big chest in Ganon's tower.
What about it?
Choosing to skip it.
What? I didn't skip it.
Oh, you didn't? Because we lost your stream right about in there, and we had surmised that you had not. We weren't able to surmise that you were able to go through there. So what was inside there?
I want to say it was the compass. I don't remember.
Okay.
Blue
Apologies.
Rupee, I don't know.
Scantor, I think I cut you off earlier. Sorry.
Bungie took my thing. Let's talk money management. Buane, you decided to jump straight to the Houlihan room, and then later you spent a significant portion of time in the archery game in the Dark World.
I had never played a retro seed before. This is literally the first retro I played. And I basically said, I'm just gonna farm money first chance I get. I'll hard reset after Zora if I have to check Zora, but I'm gonna save money and just buy a ton of keys because I'm probably gonna need a ton of keys. So I think I did archery game 12 times, I think. And I ended up buying 19 or 20 keys in the two shops.
I think you had 26 at one point.
And then I found so many keys. There were so many more keys out there in the world than I expected there to be. So at one point, I had way, way, way too many. And I started skipping keys. Like in Turtle Rock, I skipped over the pokey keys because I knew at that point I had enough small keys to finish things out. But it's just a weird. You don't have to think about really your rupees in any of the other modes very much. And then with bow not really being a thing for so long in this seed for me, then I was really focused on, do I have enough money to kill Ganon and kill the mimics and kill Ice Arm? So I have to do that. So I started really paying attention to money at that point, just to make sure, all right, we don't have to go back and farm anymore or something like that. But I overshot the keys, but I guess I ended the Ganon fight with 100 rupees, so that ended up half of it I got right.
And Elminster, you decided not to farm rupees very much. What was going through your mind for that?
I was waiting a bit to kind of feel out the seed to see if that was going to be necessary. I don't really like opening with the Houlihan play in general. It loses a minute right off the bat, and you have no information to really justify that. Now it is Expert Retro, and there are 10 keys removed from the pool, something like that. I don't remember. Or 14, something like that. So it was probably a thing that was gonna it was likely to be worth it to Houlihan or farm rupees or whatnot. But I put it off just in case it turned out not to be the play. I've had a retro seed with a 20 rupee on the bush crab, and you can just farm that really quickly. So, going into the seed, I started finding a bunch of 300s, and after that I was just like, okay, I think I'm pretty much all set. I had just 1,200, 1,500 rupees or something at one point, and actually I had so many rupees that I made the decision to just eat the Zora money, to just take the loss from that. And that was really I was only thinking about keys at that point. That was actually probably the tipping point, honestly. I would have had so many arrows to work with if I hadn't done that. But I wasn't conscious of arrows because we didn't have the bow for so long. I just completely forgot about arrows being important for money. It was like, well, I'm just going to buy 9 keys. I'm going to buy my wooden arrows. I don't really need much more money than that. Maybe a couple of potions. And then I didn't manage my money in Eastern properly. Like I went through Eastern first because I figured I want the full heal from killing Armos. I'm more likely to need hearts in Pod than I am in Eastern. And then I finish Eastern with like no money. And I go to Pod and I'm like, wait, I can't kill the... Oh god, I can't kill the mimics and shoot the Ivor. Okay. Hopefully one of them drops a 5 or something. No, that didn't happen. So a lot of little things like that did me in. But aside from... Like, literally, was just Zora, I think. Not saves coming Zora.
Despite not having those rupees, you did excellent with your spin strats on your Ganon fight and getting that last arrow perfect.
Yeah, the damage calculations were spot on.
Yeah, I wasn't too worried about being a little bit short on Ganon. It was going to be like 6 extra spins. I wasn't worried about it being down to the wire to that point, really. There was a bunch of stuff. Like I died to Vidi twice. That felt really bad. The mismanagement in Pod felt really bad. Leaving, like, kind of forgetting that I hadn't beaten Desert, and then finding Fire Rod there, that felt a bit bad because, well, it would have been nice to have earlier.
No, absolutely no. Chat bringing up something we're curious to bring up to both of you. Were you aware of being able to go over the 9 heart limit because of Retro? Because you both finished with 10.
I wasn't until maybe about an hour before the match, and I was talking to someone who brought up... I was trying to figure out if I wanted to do any of the Take Any caves, like if that was worth it in Expert. Because, you know, we were only going to be capped at Master Sword anyway, so finding the sword wouldn't be that big of a deal, probably. And then I realized, well, there's 4 hearts. I wonder if those 4 hearts are still even there in Expert. I actually generated a seed earlier this evening just to see, do the shops even still have heart containers in Expert Retro? And they did, so I said, all right, I'll probably do Take Any's for a while until I've got maybe 2 or 3 of the 4, or if I find the sword. That didn't make a difference because I ended up dying a million times anyway. But the sword was in a decent spot. It would have been nice to get the sword before going into Thieves because I really bungled the blind hammer fight. That was pretty bad. But in the end, I guess, you know, getting 2 extra hearts in this mode can be really big. I think I got 2 of the 4 plus the sword. And that can be, you know, a huge swing if you get those early, or if it's a seed that's not going to give you a lot of hearts. It did give us a decent amount of hearts for Expert mode pretty early on. You know, we had the heart container and a good number of pieces. Even without those 2 extra hearts, it probably would have been okay. But yeah, again, since it was my first retro, I didn't really know what the game plan should be going in.
No, it's definitely well executed to you by you, Elminster. Were you aware of that?
Yeah, I wasn't too worried about it. I wasn't like too worried about heart count. I've done expert seeds with like 5 hearts before, and those are kind of hit or miss, really. Sometimes they go well, sometimes they don't. But the main reason, like I had kind of the same thoughts as Buane, that okay, maybe Take Any's aren't going to be that worth it because expert, you're going to be capped at Master Sword anyways. There's still 3 swords out there that aren't in a Take Any cave. But then I got some early items that were like, let's see, I got Cape, I got Moon Pearl pretty early. So I was thinking, does the game want me to find the Take Any sword to do Aga Tower for Dark World Exodus? So that's when I started looking for it. And I didn't try to look for caves that were too far out of the way, but I did keep looking for the sword. As long as I didn't have one, that paid off decently. I got a couple hearts, maybe 3. But, you know, after that it was pretty set, but yeah.
In terms of those Take Any caves, you both did find the same caves and the sword. So you didn't find something the other one didn't in terms of those Take Any's. The Lake Hylia Fortune Teller, the Dark World Fortune Teller, and the eastern house in Kakariko Village.
Which is good because I didn't know where too many more of them were, to be honest. So after I found the sword, I said, probably... I think actually I walked to Dark Sanctuary, and that was after I'd found 2 hearts and a sword, and I said, this is totally not worth it anymore. I gotta stop with these. I've got 2 hearts already from this. I've got the sword. This is not gonna pay off too much more. So I think that was the final one I even checked, but really thinking about it, I don't even really know where too many more of them are even. So like I said, this was, as far as a first retro, this was probably as nice as it could have been to me.
I would tend to agree there. Sorry, Scantor, go ahead.
Oh, please go ahead. I was saying this seed was not very nice.
It was okay in a lot of ways, and it was dumb in a lot of other ways.
Would have been nice to have those boots, you know, sometime before the 90-minute mark.
Yeah, I I felt really potentially behind once I got them. I didn't feel like, you know, for certain behind, but I was just like, wow, these were just right here the whole time, and I kind of routed weird at the beginning, and lamp. I remember finding the lamp hint, and I was just like, oh, lamp is probably lamp must be at Zora or the island, but I think it's at Zora. No, it was on the island.
It was on the island.
Easy to see. Many opportunities to see it earlier. So that worried me a bit. Man, I should have just, like... I got baited. Like, I saw that lamp, and I was just like, okay, well, my intention was still good to go to Zora to check the ledge, and I was, like, really flip-flopping on, okay, do I check the actual Zora item, spend the 500... I chose poorly, and
Well, that's randomizer. You can't. You don't even. It sometimes comes down to decision making.
I mean, I just
right,
think
could be wrong.
I just think it was an objectively bad decision as far as money management goes, and it's like a lesson that I would take to future retro seeds. I felt like I had a decent handle on retro because of having to do a hard retro swordless. That was very taxing on money, and that seed wasn't very nice with money either. But so I felt like I had some good experience from that. But retro doesn't get raced a lot, so it's hard to actually like build that foundation without spending a lot of time on my own, which I didn't really bother to do. So could have made some better decisions. Also, if I'd felt more confident about GT not screwing me over like it has the past 2 seeds in this best of 3, I might have skipped Ice Armos. I was really thinking, you know, is it really worth it to do that fight with no good way to shoot arrows? Like, if I'd skipped it, I think the race could have turned on that, but, you know, also Buane died to Ganon a lot, and that wasn't part of the plan for him either.
It is pretty incredible how weird each one of these seeds has been with Ganon's Tower. We got some pretty close raises. I mean, we were within probably a minute and a half of each other at some point late in all 3 of these races, I guess. With the first one with no bow, and the second one was real close until you know, the dip out of GT, and then this one where I could not kill Ganon. So we were both doing something right, I guess, in these. But yeah, really weird seeds, all 3 of them, really, when it came to what could or could not be in GT.
Yeah, like, for me personally, I still count the game 2 as a close race, because...
Oh, yeah, absolutely, it was. You were right there. You were ahead in GT, really. It was just one decision. GT decision, really, you know? Like you said, it giveth and it taketh away.
Yeah, I was like accounting for close I felt it probably was, is why I made a decision like that, to gain that little bit of edge, and it bit me, and then I didn't do it this time, and that bit me too. But
the game just can't make up its mind, I think.
No, these things can definitely happen with randomizer. And switching gears as we get toward the end of our broadcast day, Buane, looking toward your future, how do you feel going up in your upcoming series against Andy?
Man, I'm gonna have to play expert again, aren't I?
Probably.
Yeah. Well, we played each other in the group stage, and those were some good fun matches. So I'm sure it'll be fun again. You know, you always get a good crowd when Andy's on the restream, so it'll be fun and no shame. Anybody in the top 32 here, there's no shame in losing. So it's fun matches. You know, if I'd bowed out here, I'd feel very satisfied with what I did, and to move on feels very satisfying. And if Andy wipes the floor with me, so be it. If we can move on further, great. There's another super tough competitor waiting past Andy.
And going toward your side, Elminster, how do you feel about your performance in the tournament?
Man, I could have 2-0'd this, you know. No, my goal was kind of to do better than I did in the spring tournament, and I managed to tie it exactly, making it to the round of 32 and then losing. But I got to play 2 expert seeds, which is more or less what I wanted. And that was... I lost both of them, actually. No, I didn't get what I wanted. Damn it. I don't know, like, a lot of these could have... they were really close. When you're in top 32, I feel like matches can go, like, either way on a swing decision, and a lot of pairings are just really evenly matched. Some of them in round 1 aren't, but I think this one is, like, just judging from, you know, weeklies and dailies, I see Buane win them fairly often. I win them decently often. You know, trading back and forth, who does better. I had another point to this. I'm sad that I don't get to raise Andy, because I have been in like 6 ALTTP rando tournaments and still not gotten to face him. But the rematch will be hype for people, I'm sure. And there was one more thing. Crap.
I'll give you a moment. If you do come back to it, please bring it up to me here. So I'm going to go ahead and get us closer to the end of our broadcast day. I'd like to thank both of these runners for putting on one hell of a race for us here. A shout out to our trackers, Febreze Ninja, for helping us out, the restreamers as well. Looking forward to tomorrow. There are 3 races currently on the docket. On Speed Gaming 3 at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, we have Mekon and Arier facing off in a Ganon Standard Uncle Assured Normal Seed. On the main Speed Gaming channel at 5:30 Eastern, we have an All Dungeon Standard Swordless Normal Randomizer between Zero Rush and Bonta. A rematch after the unfortunate crash suffered by Zero Rush. And then finally at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, we have an All Dungeons Standard Randomized Normal Retro Seed between JP and Dracaris, that being on Speed Gaming 2. And looking forward, there's still a good bit of races going on through Friday, and as we get close to the holiday season here. Scantor, any final thoughts?
If you don't want to miss any of the action on this tournament, make sure you do follow Speed Gaming 1 through 6 and a link to the past randomizer 1 through 5 so you don't miss a single match. Congrats to both of our racers. You both did excellently. And I'm looking forward to seeing what Buane does in the next round against Andy.
I remembered what I wanted to say.
Go ahead.
So, Andy was asked about one time by some random viewer who he thought had a good chance of winning in spring tournaments, and what he said as of the round of 32 was that pretty much anyone in top 32 could feasibly take it, just because of how randomizer is when you're at this level. It's swing decisions, really. And so I do agree with that. There are definitely people I'd say are significantly stronger, but seen seeds not go their way, like Error and Mikan earlier, I think is a good example of that too.
With it being randomized, execution can only carry you so far.
Sometimes it just comes down to who made the right gamble at the right time.
It is literally impossible to win in this without luck. So yeah, anybody taking wins, doesn't matter by a minute, by 20 minutes, you had some good luck. So that goes hand in hand with success here. That's for sure.
informed decisions to making to the right place, to finding the right items, to finding that way to take down the big pig. I'd like to thank you both for running. Thanks to the Speed Gaming staff for putting this on and hosting my Scantor and myself. I am Bungie to the tree, and with that, I think it's time I can finally say good night and good rando.
Good night.
GG's.
GG, everybody.